Welcome to another edition of Tip Off. We got a Tips take on Tennessee basketball about a quarter of the way through conference play, and I haven't done a video all through conference play. Been really busy, uh, but figured since we about a quarter of the way and 2 weeks in, we should give kind of a recap of some of the things I saw and my thoughts on how the conference season is going so far, and then talk about a little bit about the teams around the conference. Um, as far as Tennessee goes, so starting out, we started out with Missouri a couple of weeks ago. That game, we came out shooting lights out, and Missouri is supposed to be a tough test. They were number 12 in the nation at the time, and but when we were shooting like that and defending the way we were that game, uh, it would be tough to beat. If I look at the box score, we had Vescovi had 15, Pons had 13, Fulkerson had 11, Bailey had 9. Then we had who was that? We had Jaden Springer off the bench with 13. So real balanced scoring. That's pretty much what we've been seeing all season from Tennessee. Um, you never know which person's going to be the player to stop or to hurt you that game. We have, if I'm looking right, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 guys who can potentially lead us in scoring. So that's each night. Like you never know which one of those 7 guys is gonna lead us in scoring. So that's pretty good balance and tough to stop. Um, that game was pretty much. It's not really a lot to talk about that game because the way we shot the ball, and the energy was good. I mean, we look like a team that's ready to make a deep run in the tournament. So if we go back to the next game, this would be one that I would like to talk about a little bit longer. Was the loss to Alabama, 71-63. In that game, uh, Alabama was spread us out, 5 out, and they would screen. They start out screening Fulkerson's man, and and just going at him basically, and get him in the switch and the player that he's not able to guard out on the floor. I mean, what can you expect from him? He's a good athlete, but it's hard for any big man to guard uh, that far out on the floor, and especially with the shooters on the wings making the shots the way they were, um, you really have to figure out a different lineup. And I was hoping because I've been my lineup for Tennessee, I wanted to always see was Keon Johnson, Jaden Springer, Josiah James. Probably he'd probably be the 4 man in this lineup, and Victor Bailey Jr. and Pons play small ball. And that lineup, I feel like if Springer would have been healthy and was able to play that game, that would have been the lineup that I would have went with. And I think I posted on Facebook, even if since Springer wasn't healthy, put Vescovi out there and bring Fulkerson out and play small ball. And I can't remember what time mark it was, but eventually Barnes did that, and he had he had that 5 out there minus Springer, and that's when we were just too far down to get over the hump, and then uh, I think we had cut it to 5 or so, and then they penetrate, kick to the corner for a big 3, or maybe it was a transition 3, but I'm not sure. I think it was Shackelford, but and I can't. The point guard escapes me right now, but man, he is impressive. He really, we couldn't stay in front of him, and he was making tough layups even over Pons, and finish at the rim. And again, when they got you spread out and all 5 guys, they can hit shots. It's tough to guard. And just John Petty, I mean, he's a senior, and I'm pretty sure we may have only beat him one time his whole career. So like he's been lighting us up his whole time that he's been at Alabama, and I mean big game after big game, and this time was no different. I wish he would have went to the league. I don't know why he didn't, but uh, yeah, John Petty, he's a ball killer for right now. Like he's been killing us for a long time. So Hats off to Alabama. You know, they're in first place in the SEC right now. They had a big win over Auburn today, and we'll talk about that a little bit later because both those teams look like they could be somebody who would be contending for this SEC championship that I thought UT was going to win pretty easily, and still might. You know, it's early, 2 weeks in, but yeah, that game was rough. I think even when we cut it down as out of bounds under the basket for Alabama, and they ran. It was no screen or anything. I mean, the guy just quickly face cut Victor Bailey Jr. and I believe he got an and one off of it, and that pretty much ended the game. Um, you get a stop right there. I think it was only no, they didn't get an and one. They just got fouled. It was 3 seconds on the shot clock, and they got fouled, and Victor Bailey just got face cut, and he did. He got face cut against Arkansas, same out of bounds play, and he got face cut again today against Texas A&M. Like that's unacceptable. Like 3 straight games you get face cut on out of bounds under the basket plays. Like yeah, I'm sure that's going to be brought up this week in film study. But so yeah, right there, that was a big play for Alabama. They went to the free throw line, made free throws. Uh, but in Bailey's defense, he gave us a real good chance by getting hot and hitting big time shots in that game. And then our free throw shooting was poor against Alabama. Uh, we ended up shooting. Let's see what we ended up shooting. We ended up shooting 9. No, that's Alabama. We ended up shooting 17 for 26 from the line. Mind you, after the last media timeout, um, Victor Bailey Jr. went 6 for 6 during that time, and a couple other guys went perfect from the line. So if you really think about it, during the main important parts of the game, we were shooting under either right at 50% or under 50% from the free throw line. That's not winning basketball. That's not championship basketball. And this is a team that typically shoots high 70s, mid to high 70s from the foul line. And yeah, that was bad. And plus, we couldn't make shots from the outside. So I mean, everything was. With all that being said, I mean, Alabama shooting lights out. We didn't shoot good from the free throw line or the field. That's gonna be tough to overcome, no matter who you're playing. So that was pretty much the Alabama game. We couldn't get stops, couldn't make shots. But had we even made free throws, it would have been a little pressure on those jump shooters for Alabama. The elbow would have got a little tight, potentially, you know, less shots fall in when it's a close game for some people. And so, you know, we just couldn't overcome that deficit. Arkansas was a scary team to me. I thought Arkansas was, you know, I was watching them play earlier in the season. I was like, man, they're tough. That seven, I don't know how tall he is, but he thinks like 7'2" or something like that. I mean, Fulkerson went right at him. He took it to him, drawing fouls on him, and really they couldn't stop us. And I think Josiah James had a huge game, if I'm not mistaken, like 17 and 9. Let's see. Yeah, Josiah James had 17 and 9, and he's capable of doing that from the guard spot. He's a great rebounder. Again, he's a 5-star kid, and this is exactly what we expected out of him had he had a regular offseason prior to the freshman year. So he's made a noticeable jump from freshman to sophomore year, and that's what everybody was hoping to see because the sky's the limit for him. He has great potential. Again, balanced scoring. We got. I forgot to mention the Alabama game. Springer was out. That was a huge factor in that game too. But just going back to this Arkansas game, we had Josiah James had 17, Fulkerson had 16, Keon Johnson had 14. That might be a career high for him. Then we had Victor Bailey Jr. shot lights off. He came off the bench that game, I believe, and had 17. And we shot the ball pretty good in the second half, and we was able to kind of get stops when we needed to in that game. Defense is still not as good as it was earlier in the season. You know, the teams are starting to figure us out. I think that they're spreading us out, and Arkansas pretty much did the same thing Alabama did, get mismatches and just beating us off the dribble. I mean, we gotta be better defensively, keeping your man out of the paint. Because once they get in the paint, they're either getting fouled, getting an easy shot, or kicking out for an easy three once the help comes. So, you know, we gotta, I guess as they say, guard your yard and not let them get past you. But the Arkansas game was a good test, and we were able to close out at the free throw line. Everybody hit free throws. Keon Johnson hit some big free throws down the stretch, and that was good to see because he had been shooting not great from the foul line. I can't remember his percentage. Thing is, a little over 50 or maybe 60%, but he went perfect down the stretch against Arkansas. In today's game against Texas A&M, once we got a pretty good lead on them. It's kind of seesawing back and forth to being a good lead to a few possession ball game, but we were able to make plays down the stretch and push that lead out. Vescovi shot lights out. That guy, he shot lights out. I mean, he was shooting, letting it go, and moving down towards defense. You could tell he knew it was going in. I'm gonna tell you something scary. When Vescovi is able to play off the ball, and we have Kennedy Chandler next year, that if Keon Johnson and Jalen Springer come back, and you put Kennedy Chandler at the point with those guys around him and Josiah James, I don't know who Rick Martin's gonna play if that happens, but man, I'm talking like, I mean, I think this is a Final Four team that we have already, but you add Kennedy Chandler at the point, takes us to a whole another level, and I can't the wing that's coming in, name escapes me. He's either a high 4-star or a borderline 4 or 5-star. I can't remember, but he's a beast also. So I mean, this program is set up to make a couple of runs. We need a big man though in this next recruiting class. I don't know if he's gonna get a JUCO or grad transfer or something, but if I was a grad transfer, I'd be looking to come to play with these guys. Olivier Nkamhoua, he played great today. Um, he looks taller to me. Like he looks taller than what they have marked there. I think they have marked at 6'8", 6'9". He looks taller than that out there. I mean, he's finished around the basket better this year. You can tell he's playing more confidence. He knows his spots. Last year, like I think I mentioned in another video, he was kind of tentative around the basket. He'd pass up shots he should shoot, and then shoot shots he shouldn't shoot. But this year he looks a lot more confident, and it looks like he put some good weight on in the weight room. And they say that gives you confidence. Um, so that was good to see because next year we're gonna need him to potentially be a starter at the 5, and that's just crazy to think about. But yeah, we'll potentially need him to be a starter at the 5, and to go along with those guards. And again, hopefully they go get a grad transfer, somebody who's proven to play with Nkamhoua next year, and then Pember gets in the weight room and gets bigger. I think he'll be able to help us a little bit. But looking forward, they have made a change to our schedule. The Vanderbilt game has moved to Tuesday. Scottie Pippen Jr. and his crew, no matter what Vanderbilt, whatever the roster looks like, it really doesn't matter. They always tend to play us pretty well. Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be a good matchup at the point. He's gonna be a pest for Vescovi. I'm sure they'll probably move Vescovi off the ball like they've been doing lately, but not real familiar with the other guys on their team. I remember number 1, can't think of his name, but he was a good player. But they lost a lot of their guys last year to the draft, or at least a few, or to graduation, I should say, and then one to the draft, Neesmith. But yeah, so we have Vanderbilt. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with the Saturday game, but that moves to Tuesday from Saturday. But just looking around the SEC, the teams that I saw that looked scary, or we need to be aware of. I mentioned them earlier, Auburn. Auburn, now that they have Sharif Cooper in the mix, he completely changes their team. The way Bruce Pearl is going to coach and the way his player, the freedom they have on offense and the confidence they have to take big shots, make big shots, uh, that's always a problem for us playing against teams like that. I mean, similar to Alabama. Watching that game was pretty high level athletes. Um, Sharif Cooper and he made a lot of mistakes down the stretch. Um, he turned the ball over trying to overpass. I mean, he tried to do the same play, penetrate, get in the paint, wrap around pass to the big man. I think he tried it like 3 straight times almost, and then every time was a turnover. And then they had a chance to down four, um, freshman mistake. He pulls up for the three. I think they're down four, either 4 or 3. Either way, it was one 2-on-1 fast break. He pulls up for a deep three instead of attacking the basket and getting a layup with about 25, 30 seconds left. So you should have had a multiple possession ball game. You could have fouled, got yourself in better position to make a comeback. But that's freshman mistakes. This is his first game, so when he comes back, I think he had like 26 and 9. So when he comes back, I'm sure that they'll be on him and again film study, and they'll be telling him, hey, you should attack the basket on that. And freshman mistakes, he'll learn from it. So he's gonna be tough. And 22, the lefty from Auburn, he's gonna be tough. Shot making again, step back threes, and then the Thor, man, that guy. So yeah, Auburn's gonna be tough down the stretch, and they start off slow, but they will make a run. Kentucky's 3-0 in the conference. Who would have saw that coming? Um, like they'll tell us a lot what they do with Alabama this week, and that's crazy to just think about Alabama and Kentucky for first place in the SEC early on. And that'll be an interesting game. I'm definitely gonna have to tune into that. Um, who else around the SEC should we be looking out for? LSU. They're freshmen. I can't think of his name right now, but man, he's averaging like 20, 23, 24 points per game. And then of course we already know the point guard killed us last year. I think his name was Smalls. Um, he killed us last year. And then yeah, they have I like their team. They have a nice squad. So that's really what I saw. So it's Kentucky, Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, and then Kentucky. I mean LSU. So those teams are your teams to beat in the SEC. We'll do some previews for the next for the Florida game. We'll do some previews for the Florida game. That's Quez Glover comes to town. No, we're at Florida, so he should be on our roster playing point guard. But we'll talk about that another day. UT kind of botched that at recruitment because Florida's not even using him the way we need him. So, but anyway, and there's some more details about the show next week. I'll have, I think it'll be this next week, either next week or the week after. I have my first guest on the show, and a real special show. I won't actually tell you what we're gonna talk about yet, but I'll post it on Facebook once me and him get together and get our dates confirmed. But it's gonna be a different show. It's not gonna be Tennessee basketball. It'll be something different, but it'll still be basketball. So tune in to that or be looking out for that. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what your thoughts about the rest of the season, the SEC, or any team in college basketball. Let me know what you think. I had a chance to watch Gonzaga for the first time the other night, and everybody was telling me that they were really impressive. And I even had one college teammate tell me that's the best team he's seen in a decade. And that's saying a lot because he watches a lot of basketball. So he said that's the best team he's seen in a decade. I'm taking him serious. Like I need to check them out more often. And they did. I mean, they had real bigs. Their guard is an NBA point guard, and they had scorers on the wing. They look really impressive. So I'm gonna check them out for a full game. And then Baylor looks amazing. Baylor looks amazing. But outside of those two, I haven't seen Iowa play a complete game, and I heard Michigan and Iowa, the other teams that I've heard that I need to check out. So I'll be looking for them, trying to catch a game from them this week. And yeah, that's about it for today. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Um, Let me know what you would like to talk about, and or let me like to hear about in future shows. That's it for now. I'll talk to you all after the Vanderbilt game. See you.